Let's talk more about the needs in the area when it comes to internet, which many people say there's a great digital divide that exists when you're talking about different neighborhoods across the country. But here in Winnipeg, this area has a group that's trying to help. My next guests say reliable internet is something everyone should have access to. They have plans to supply as many as 1,000 North End households with free internet, in fact. They're doing it right here at a Merchant's Corner. So Joel Templeton is executive director of a nonprofit internet society, of the nonprofit Internet Society Manitoba chapter. Hi, Joel.
Hello, good morning.
Big title to get out there. Courtney Comber is here as well. She's executive director of North End Connect. That's a community network in Winnipeg that's hoping to close, as I mentioned, that digital divide. Hi, Courtney.
Hi.
So, Joel, how did this idea to supply free internet to households in the North End even come about?
Well, it came out of the pandemic, actually, from this building. Interestingly, the groups that work here and a lot of the nonprofits, as we all experienced during the pandemic, lost contact with their clients, and the students that they were trying to help couldn't go to school and were all sent home. So we know this from research all around North America, is that urban centers, even though they're really well connected with infrastructure, there are areas in the urban spaces, usually low-income areas like the North End, that don't have enough devices, don't have enough access to digital literacy training, and don't, for a number of reasons, have barriers to connect to the internet.
I remember vividly, you're talking about the pandemic, on CBC we had a father who had, I think it was 4 kids, but he was on the air sharing, people are talking all about how hard it is to learn online. He said, and in his household, they had one computer they were all sharing and passing around, and he was trying to work. You guys, I know, started by even offering, you had some free computers that you were handing out trying to help, and now it's about the internet.
Absolutely. We kind of started backwards. It is a community network. That is the goal, to build and support everyone here. But we have a great partnership with Computers for Schools Manitoba. And through them, we were able to get refurbished computers and distribute them in the neighborhood. We're pushing kind of 1,000, I think, at this point since the beginning of the project. That was where we started.
Courtney, how are you doing this physically with the internet? How are you supplying North End households with free internet? Are you literally popping up antennas?
That is the goal, yeah. Right now we have an antenna up on the roof of Merchant's Corners here. I don't know, maybe Joel wants to take you up there later if you don't feel like climbing up a ladder. And we have one antenna on the Andrews Street Family Center, just down the street over this way. And we're in the process of getting, I think it was 3 up on the roof of the Ivan Franco Manor over on McGregor. They just finished up some roof construction, so we're just kind of waiting to get up in there and get that going.
So the ultimate goal is how many households would be part of the project?
I want to see the entire North End covered, but for just starter, I think we're aiming for just initial 20, just trying to kind of see how we can manage it, get that team going, get the help desk kind of put together so that we have people to support everyone on the network. And then once we have that kind of base built up of that foundation, then we can start adding more and more. And I think our goal is just the 1,000 that was mentioned earlier.
To start, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the reaction? Are you down the line enough to have reaction from people who are going to be part of those first, 20?
It is insane seeing how many people are in support of this initiative. Community members, other local partners, organizations, everyone is coming together to see this kind of come to fruition, and it's kind of really heartwarming because...
Why do you care about it? Because you immediately were like, I want to see the whole North End
whole North
covered.
End.
Yeah.
Once we get the North End, I'm going to go further north to this North Connect. For me, it's my mom kind of went through a lot of treatment centers here when I was a child, and she worked really hard, and the North End community kind of helped my family get put back together. So I see this as an opportunity for me to give back to the same organizations that helped me in the past.
Passion always somehow comes from that personal, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
So how are you going to manage it, though? Because, do you need to fundraise? What is it actually going to take to make this dream a reality, even more than it has already started? Either of you can answer. I'm not sure who has the answer to that.
That was an important thing when we started this, is that we wanted to make sure that we were adding to the services. There's, as mentioned before, there's amazing, great services here. One of the things that wasn't here was technology support, internet connectivity, any of those kinds of things, which made those organizations struggle, right? The communications with their clients, things like that. So we are trying to bring in something to, add to those services. And we also didn't want, when it comes to funding, to fish in the same pond as it is, right? We didn't want to be able to, there's only so many funders. So being able to be, because the Internet Society is an international organization, we have access to money that other groups wouldn't have. So trying to bring in new money into the neighborhood and then keep it here. The idea of that community network developing wealth and keeping that in the neighborhood.
So I know you've applied for some grants. You're trying to access funds that way to keep this moving. I understand also that part of the hiring here to maintain the network, as you mentioned earlier, you would be eyeing up local people, which
Absolutely.
then goes back to training. It's all connected.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're trying to create the entire ecosystem of the technology hub, everything from the computers coming in all the way until they have to go out. So all the way to e-waste, be able to collect old things and make sure that they don't end up in landfills. Training students. We have a great partnership with R.B. Russell Technical High School. We have a beginning of a relationship with Red River, right? So seeing the entire stream coming through, attracting people in the neighborhood realizing they could go into IT as a career, all of that. We could do this. We could have done this faster and easier if we did this with outside agencies and brought in, outsourced this essentially, but that's not the point. The point is to build that capacity here in the neighborhood.
And also with access points is going to be eyed in the future as well. What does that mean?
So then one of the things Rogers did recently when they acquired Shaw was there's Shaw Open and Rogers Open hotspots all over the place. This summer, unless you were paying attention, they shut them down. They said that the people weren't using them, whatever. It wasn't making them enough money, I guess. So that's, we think, a huge issue. There already wasn't enough places for people to go. When the pandemic came, a lot of places closed. A lot of community centers that had like a little tech hub or something closed and they never reopened. So St. John's Library is one of the places that we do our digital literacy training. So there's very few places to go to, and those hotspots are essential. So we're kind of supplementing them or replacing them, I guess, around the neighborhood. So key places where people like where we are right now, Merchants Corners. There's one right up there.
I see it. Yeah, just on the wall,
so
yeah.
just so people have free open access to internet where they go.
Just last, Courtney, why is it important? Like I'm talking about digital divide and the need for internet. Without it, what do people miss when you don't have that connectivity?
Honestly, a little bit of everything. The way that I kind of see it is this neighborhood has kind of been left on the back burner since I was a child, since my mom was a child, and now it's 60 years later and it's still on the back burner. So now that I'm the adult, I'm in the position to do something about it. I'm going to, or try at least. But this kind of gives people the opportunity to connect with family, go to school, find jobs, connect with resources online that they wouldn't otherwise have access to or even know about, because no one comes and just hands things to anyone. You have to go out and you have to find it yourself, and without the tools to do so, without the knowledge of how to utilize those tools, without the internet to actually access it, how are they going to? They're not. They're just going to be continued to be left behind.
Sincere good luck with your project, you two. Thank you so much for being part of our Merchants Corner broadcast. Nice to meet you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joel Templeman with us, Executive Director of Internet Society Manitoba Chapter, and Courtney Comber, Executive Director of North End Connect.